Over the past few weeks, Hollywood has been rocked by some of its biggest and arguably most upsetting news stories that we've seen in recent history. The month began with a sensational story about Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy, who disappeared from her Arizona home in the early hours of February 1st, and at the time of this recording, has yet to be found. Nancy was reported missing by her loved ones after she failed to show up at the home of a friend where she had been due to watch an online church service. According to reports, Savannah rushed from her home in New York City to the Tucson area, where Nancy has lived for more than 30 years, having purchased a home there in 1975, which she was still living in at the time of her disappearance. The Pima County Sheriff's Department is working in close collaboration with agents from the FBI who have carried out an exhaustive search for Nancy, including the attempted identification of a masked and armed suspect who was caught on doorbell camera approaching Nancy's home in the early hours of the morning on February 1st. It's thought that that footage was taken just moments before Nancy is believed to have been abducted from the property. More than 3 weeks after her mother disappeared, Savannah revealed on Instagram that her family is now offering a $1 million reward to anyone who can offer information that leads to her mother's return and/or the conviction and arrest of any persons who were involved in her disappearance. In the emotional video footage, Savannah said that she and her siblings, Annie and Cameron, are aware that their mother may have died. However, she issued a plea to Nancy's captors, urging them to return Nancy to her home and her loved ones so that they can be reunited once again and either celebrate her survival of this truly harrowing event or lay her to rest in the appropriate way. Less than 2 weeks after Nancy's disappearance, Hollywood was dealt another devastating blow when it was revealed that Dawson's Creek star James Van Der Beek had died at the age of 48 after a years-long battle with colorectal cancer. The news of James's passing was shared publicly by his wife Kimberly, with whom he shared 6 children. And soon after she revealed that her husband had passed, Kimberly shared a link to a GoFundMe that was set up by her loved ones in order to help her and her children deal with the incredible financial burden of James's exorbitant medical costs. The GoFundMe suggested that Kimberly and her kids would need financial help in order to remain in their Austin, Texas home, where they relocated in 2020 after quitting Los Angeles in order to give their kids more freedom and more opportunity to be at one with nature. Initially, the Van Der Beeks began renting a 36-acre ranch in the Spicewood area just outside of Austin, revealing when they moved from LA that they were hoping to get to grips with what life in Texas was going to look like for them before they committed to buying their dream home. However, Realtor.com exclusively revealed that James actually closed on the purchase of that same property just over 1 month before he passed away. James and Kimberly paid $4.76 million for the sprawling Austin abode, where they had been living with their children for nearly 6 years when James passed away. The property is also the place where James underwent a lot of his cancer treatment and where he spent his final days surrounded by his loved ones and his friends. After relocating to Texas from California in 2020, both James and Kimberly raved about how much they loved life in the Lone Star State. James would regularly share glimpses at their new lifestyle on his social media account, posting videos and images taken of himself, his wife, and their kids in and around their new home. While Kimberly has not yet revealed whether she plans to stay in the property in the long term, the GoFundMe that was set up in order to support her and her children has since raised more than $2.7 million. Now, speaking of the Lone Star State, it recently reacquired 2 of its most famous residents in the form of gymnast Simone Biles and her NFL player husband, Jonathan Owens. For those of you not big into the NFL, Jonathan has spent the last couple of years playing for the Chicago Bears, and during that time, he and Simone have jetted back and forth from their newly built dwelling in Spring, Texas, which is just outside of Houston, and a rented property in the Windy City. However, with the end of the 2025 NFL season came the end of Jonathan's contract with the Bears, and the prime opportunity for the couple to finally finish moving into their newly built lakefront mansion. Simone has already given several glimpses inside the property on her social media, revealing that it is packed to the brim with luxurious amenities. However, there are a couple of very unique features that stood out to us more than most. The first, which Simone has already confessed is her favorite part of the home, is a custom laundry room that features a washer and dryer for both her and Jonathan. She said that they included this element because Jonathan always tries to do laundry at the same time as her, and this will hopefully enable them both to get on with their chores at the same time. The home also features a custom pet room for her beloved dogs, which has a pet spa and some very attractive built-in dog bowls that are outfitted with the same tiles that they used in their incredible infinity pool. Needless to say, if we were Simone, we'd be doing backflips over this new home. However, it remains to be seen whether she and Jonathan will get to stay there for long, because he has yet to determine exactly what his future in the NFL looks like. Honestly, we can't blame Simone if she's whispering in his ear to retire, but I'm sure she will not hesitate to follow him wherever he ends up going. And now we'll move on to a big story in the Big Apple, where Bill Cosby has recently relisted the second of 2 New York City townhouses that he's been trying to sell for several months now. It was revealed at the end of 2024 that Bill was facing foreclosure on both of his Manhattan dwellings after he and his wife Camille were accused of defaulting on several loans taken out against both of the homes. Now, Bill managed to offload the larger of these 2 homes for the sky-high price of $28 million towards the end of 2025. The money from that sale not only helped him to save his smaller New York property from foreclosure, but also to settle all of his debts with his lenders. Realtor.com exclusively revealed at the time that Bill had made the decision to take the smaller and cheaper of the 2 abodes off the market after selling the other one so that he could renovate it, give it a bit of a refresh, and then put it back on the market at the start of this year, which he's now done, and with a slightly reduced price to boot. The property was originally listed in April 2025 for just a hair under $7 million. However, it's now back on the market for the discounted price of $6.75 million. And according to the listing, you will get a lot of luxury for that price, as well as ample privacy, with the description noting that living in a townhouse affords residents far more safety and security than residing in a co-op or a condo where you have to deal with shared walls and several communal spaces where you could bump into any one of your neighbors at any given point. Now, it's unclear whether Bill actually ever used this property as his own home, having purchased it initially for his son Ennis, who passed away a few years later in Los Angeles. Bill and his wife Camille have been living at their residence in Philadelphia for many years now, having purchased the property back in 1983 for just $225,000. Hopping over from the East Coast to the West Coast, we're moving on to actress Jennifer Esposito, who pulled at many heartstrings earlier this month when she tearfully revealed on Instagram that she had lost a home she remortgaged in order to finance her independent movie Fresh Kills. The 52-year-old actress revealed in 2024 that she had taken out a new mortgage on her property in order to fund the movie that she had spent 15 years trying to get made. In her video, Jennifer seemed to take aim at her fellow Hollywood A-listers, admitting that her movie had struggled because many people just chose not to promote it. She went on to question what we owe one another as humans and asked whether she feels she's really been shown the human decency that she deserves. In 2024, when she revealed her decision to mortgage her house in order to fund the project, Jennifer said that she did so because she wanted to show the world that she truly believed in herself and in the movie. She revealed that someone had offered her $5 million if she would have allowed a man to direct the film instead of her, but she stuck to her guns and said that she didn't have any regrets about putting up her own house as funding for the project because it showed just how much faith she had in her own abilities and her own talents. That's a wrap on our favorite movers and shakers from the month of February. But if you're desperate for more celebrity real estate news, don't forget to head over to the Realtor.com News and Insights page for all these kinds of stories and more. And we'll see you back here next month for another roundup of all of your favorite A-listers and their major moves. Until then, bye.